Coming in live recorded and heavily edited. It's a Stanley! Hey y'all, this video gets a little bit serious, in part mainly because this episode centers around a deceased parental figure. So, content warning. Alright, you ready? Stephen and Amethyst demand fry bits from the fryer at a fry stand run by Mr. Fryman, who has fry hair. Stephen casually points out the time of day and how there's a second sun in the sky. Oh, no. Amethyst, on the other hand, freaks out at this. They find the other gems planning.
Where were you? Eating fry bits.
Turns out the thing's called a red eye, and it plots to
crash into Beach City.
The gems know that a laser light cannon would be able to defeat it. Well, the only person who knew about those was Rose Quartz.
My mom?
And as the gems say, she's gone. Stephen says since it's related to his mom, maybe his dad would know something about it. But the gems dismiss this offhand.
I doubt Rose would entrust someone like him.
Your dad is kind of a mess, Stephen.
True.
He goes to ask despite this, leaving the other three to come up with other methods. He finds his dad asleep in the back of a van. Greg is a human, making Stephen half-calf. We also hear that Greg works at a car wash, and despite it being sunset, barely recognizes his son.
Stephen?
200 years! Greg tries to stay out of magic stuff usually.
It could be dangerous or interfere with what's left of my hair.
But is willing to help look with Stephen. The boy expects a great adventure filled with trials and errors, I guess, and finds one in the terrifying cave of Storage Unit.
A magical storage unit!
Not exactly.
After gearing up, Stephen braves the depths, all the while talking to his dad on the other side. There's all kinds of junk.
It's like a dad museum.
Including several things that remind Greg of Rose. So he recalls the story of how they met. At the time, Greg was a one-man band on tour. It was supposed to be a one-time concert in Beach City, and no one really showed up except
An alligator!
No, it's your mother.
Rose Quartz. She saw the beauty in everything, especially goofy stuff like Greg and his music. Stephen steps on a portrait of the two by accident. Greg just immediately forgives him. He has a catchphrase for times such as this.
If every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs.
Stephen finds a big pink cannon in the back of the unit. Aha! Knowing that this gem artifact is thousands of years old, the two universes surgically remove it and carefully transport it back to the gems. On the way back to the beach, Stephen wants to listen to his dad's music and becomes amorphous as he dances along.
That tall. I know I'm not that smart.
By the time they arrive, the eyeball is close enough so that the whole beach just looks red. The gems are shocked to see him. The cannon's here! Greg had the cannon! Can you believe it? We thought Greg wouldn't have the cannon! But there's a new problem. No one knows how to activate it. Stephen gets sad about not being able to save the day, but his dad reminds him that it's okay not to be perfect. And Stephen says the cute little catchphrase.
We're perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs.
Suddenly the cannon activates. Rose turned this dorky saying into a passcode. It takes the gem's combined strength to aim the cannon up at the red eye. A beautiful laser takes off into the sky, destroying it, upsetting the tide, and nearly destroying Greg's home.
I love it there!
Okay, I have a lot to say about this one, but I'll try to narrow it down to things that would apply so we don't get bogged down in the details. First of all, the red eye.
That thing's giving me the willies.
Okay, this thing is a giant eyeball. You would expect it to have, I don't know, observing usage. But no, it's pretty much a cannonball. And it's not like huge, like planet destroying huge either. Pearl says it's going to destroy all of the city.
It's going to crash into Beach City and crush us along with a bunch of oblivious, innocent people.
Do aliens have a beef with Beach City? Isn't that weird to just want to destroy one town? On top of this, the physics of Garnet throwing amethyst are just hilarious. If this thing is traveling at Earth at a certain acceleration and they throw amethyst at it, then she would stick to the front and continue to accelerate back at the Earth with it. If it's accelerating fast enough towards the Earth that it's creating this much of an inflow current, then, I mean, I'm not a physicist, but I'm pretty sure Amethyst would at least stick a little bit. Like, maybe it would take some... She wouldn't just fall straight down, you know what I mean?
What?
While we're angry about things, let's slap some on the gems. Let me just say, the gems' behavior is uncalled for. Greg does not deserve the treatment he's received. Now, I've always lived in a landlocked state, but I'm told of beach bums. Apparently, it is a common term used to describe lazy people who spend their whole lives chilling on the beach. To which I say, jealous. Where do I sign up? You get to live in your van, to drive wherever you want to go, in your house, and when you're not working, you could just chill out at the beach. Now, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere! But I like to be a beach bum, please now, yes, thank you. The crystal gems treat Greg like he's the least responsible person they've ever met. And now come to think about it, maybe he is. And I mean, their opinion is fine, whatever. But don't say that to the dude's kid! At least let him just go ask his dad, without turning down the idea right away. And for goodness sake, apologize! Greg is the MVP of the episode, and he does not get credit for it. Greg saved your heinies twice this episode! Canon and password, you're welcome. Alright, I'll leave them alone. For now. So, in this episode, Greg drops a doozy like a dog with dementia.
And we were always together after that. Until she gave up her physical form to bring you into the world.
I'm sorry, before Rose what?
Gave up her physical form to bring you into the world.
What was that?
She gave up her physical form.
Dog with dementia just lets it fall and keeps walking. And Steven lets him without further questions. Just like he's willing to accept that there's a second sun in the sky today. Okay, here's what I can say. The gem is the gem. The gem is in the gem. When they refer to the stones on their bodies, they're talking about themselves. They just project these women that we see, because that's what they feel like they want to look like. We'll see them change their form in various ways, especially Amethyst. Since it doesn't happen in this episode, I'll ask you to watch for it in the future. Wink! The most important thing is that the stone on Steven's body was once literally Rose Quartz. And now it's stuck on the belly button of a 13-year-old. Jam! This is the first of many Mr. Universe songs. He doesn't have a rock star's voice, but he does have fun dad writing chops. The song is kind of Greg affirming the gem's feelings towards him. He even underestimates himself. He also considers himself not smart, not strong, except he knows one thing. The gems don't. He has a huge heart that's always open. I almost picture like a Greg-themed drive-in restaurant with like Greg plates and Greg waiters and Greg cooks. But that's you driving into his heart. He wants to drive into yours. He wants to kill you. Kidding. You know it's a song for the vibes. Alright, here's the rating. Characters. Who can beat Mr. Fryman's character design? One man, one gimmick, one fry stand. What kind of stands are at the boardwalk? Fries? Oh, yeah, okay, so there they serve fries! That's it? Okay, whatever. And it's Fryman! I quit. There's also a relationship I want to spotlight in this episode. Both Amethyst and Garnet are very cool under pressure, very ready to just do things. But they're extremely first thought, best thought. We see Amethyst constantly being thrown at the sun the whole episode. They don't even try to think of anything else.
Throw me again! I think I'm cracking it!
Meanwhile, Pearl is terrible at thinking on her feet, and so she's just freaking out the whole time. Mr. Ponytail Holder. Even the fact that I get angry with the gems shows excellent character in this episode. We even get to know Rose's character through other people. 10. Perfect score! There's a nice shot of Beach City while Steven and his dad drive back to the gems. So we get to see more of the city layout. Also the Fryman Fry Stand, which doesn't actually sell fry bits.
I can give you actual fries if you want.
Just the bits, please.
But on the other hand, that red eye feels like a big deal to me, and I just don't understand it. At all. What is the eyeball's motivation? I'm gonna have to give it a 5. Plot. The dynamic between the humans and the gems is pretty well set up here. The gems want to save and protect humanity, but like at arm's length. Kind of how they're keeping Steven just outside of the door to their temple. So they like humanity, but don't really understand humans. There's a hint of picking up the pieces that Rose left behind. And what the gems and Greg thought of her. Things are slowly gaining clarity. If Steven would ask follow-up questions...
I know.
8. All of these are out of 10. Okay, art and animation. It's a tough one. Pearl still looks weird, even if it's in a different way. But Garnet looks better. There's no fun dancing your weapons out in this one. But we get a cool light show. Even Steven's dance conflicts me. But he's so cute though. 5. The conflict number. Those heart feels give some pretty great points, but they aren't the end-all be-all. There's like no action in the episode. I mean, Garnet through most of it is just standing like this. Then again, that canon. My show, my rules, 6.5. Nonsense. Bonus point. That's not a D+, that's a C-.